back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well out there. And today we're going to talk about Top Gun Maverick once again, but in spoiler form. But before we get into it, like, comment, and subscribe. Join me here. I greatly would appreciate that. Yes, today we're going to do a deep dive on Top Gun Maverick. There's a lot I want to say about this film, so let's get into it. Now, just to preface this review, just before I turn the camera on, I just read an article by Jerry Bruckheimer. I didn't know this information until like 5 minutes before I started filming this. And he said that actually Joseph Kosinski, who directed this film and worked with Tom Cruise on Oblivion, actually went to Tom while he was filming Mission Impossible Fallout with the idea for this film. And Tom got really excited when he suggested we do real flying, real stunts, very little CGI. And Tom Cruise got very excited and he went to Paramount and said, okay, let's do this sequel. And he brought Christopher McQuarrie in to do a rewrite in the script. So they took this very, very seriously to give the fans what they wanted and pay respect to what came before, while also pushing the story further. And I think they did a great job. If you saw my day after reaction, I love this film, but we're going to talk about it a little further. Joseph Kosinski directed this film. Jerry Bruckheimer was back to produce this film, as he did the first film with his partner Don Simpson. And right at the beginning of this film, the Don Simpson Jerry Bruckheimer logo pops up, and I thought that was really cool that Jerry Bruckheimer did that in memory of his ex-business partner who sadly passed away after the release of during the production of The Rock back in '96. Now, in this film, of course, we got Tom Cruise as Captain Pete Mitchell Maverick, and we got Jennifer Connelly playing Penny Benjamin. It's always lovely to see Jennifer Connelly on screen, and I love that they brought this character back. They only mentioned her in the original film. We never saw her. But I thought it was cool they brought the character back and even elaborate on her and Maverick's time spent together over the years, even since the first film. Miles Teller plays Lieutenant Bradley, or Rooster, and he is Goose's son. That is a spoiler. I didn't want to mention that in the original, just in case nobody knew that out there. And Val Kilmer is back as Iceman, but now he's an admiral in the Navy. And John Hamm plays Cyclone, and he is Maverick's superior at Top Gun when he gets sent there. At the beginning of the film, we see Maverick. He lives in a trailer in this aircraft hangar in this naval base in the desert, and he's a test pilot now. And he gets the exact same bike from the original film. He puts the aviators on, the bomber jacket, spectacular callback to the original film. Matter of fact, the title sequence of making this film, before we even see Maverick, is the same font as the original film. We hear the same music as the original film. We show an aircraft carrier, a plane, now F-18s, not F-14s, taking off, setting the scene for what we're about to see. And we see Maverick. He eats his breakfast. He gets on a motorcycle, goes to base, and he gets informed that Admiral, played by Ed Harris, is going to show up and shut them down. He was supposed to hit Mach 9 in his test plane that they've been testing out there, but this Admiral wants them to hit Mach 10, and they haven't reached that yet. He's going to pull their budgeting and give it to some drone research to enhance their drone program. And Maverick's like, well, he's not here yet, so let's do it. So Maverick, being Maverick, takes the plane up as the Admiral's pulling up to the gate, and he ends up hitting Mach 10. But then Maverick, being Maverick, he pushes the boundaries like he always has, and he pushes it to, I think, to Mach 3, and the plane comes apart on him. He does survive, but he makes his way back to base to be scolded by the Admiral. But Admiral Iceman, or Kazansky, had made a phone call right before Maverick gets his ass chewed out, and he gets told that he's going back to Top Gun to train these pilots that are best of the best to do this impossible mission in this far-off land, and they're tasking him to train these folks. And so Maverick's on his way back to Top Gun to train these pilots to do this mission. And he's not met with open arms, at least by John Hamm's character. He did not want him there, but he respects Iceman enough to go by what he tells him, and obviously Iceman's his superior. But Maverick's told up front that he's not thrilled that he was the one chosen for this. And we meet Rooster. There's a cool bar scene, and this is where Maverick reconnects with Penny Benjamin, because she owns the bar. And it's actually a really cool scene, and you get a lot between Connelly and Cruise just in this little scene about their history, even since the first movie, where they had gotten back together off and on over the years. And you just get a little bit just in this little moment. And we see the new pilots, or these pilots that he's going to be training, come in. And then eventually Rooster gets in, who Maverick's trying to avoid, because we find out that he pulled Rooster's papers when he tried to get into the flying program, because he made a promise to Rooster's mother, who has since passed away. They do go over that in the film, that Goose's wife passed away. And Rooster is not happy with Maverick, even though Maverick was trying to do the right thing and be a father figure. But Rooster cannot forgive him for setting his career back 4 years. He even mentions it several times during the film. But Rooster comes in to see Maverick. Maverick is thrown out of the bar because he doesn't have money to pay the tab. And he starts playing Great Balls of Fire. And Tom Cruise gives a great performance just in this one scene where he's stunned. He hears it, and he's just standing on the steps outside looking in through this open door. And he sees him playing the piano and surrounded by his other pilots that he knows. And they're singing the song, and they show a flashback to him singing with Goose and Rooster sitting on the piano from the first film, the same footage. We see Meg Ryan's character and Kelly McGinnis, and they're singing Great Balls of Fire, and he almost has a tear in his eye. Like, he can't believe, it's like deja vu. And Goose's death still haunts Maverick. He's still flying with that in the back of his head. And so that still has not left him. He can't let it go. And this becomes a problem as he's training these pilots. Now, these pilots are cocky. They think they're the best of the best, but Maverick shows them really fast when he takes them up to see what they got, that he's better than them all, and he can outfly any one of them. But that's not his point. He shows them that he's better, but he wants to make them better because he realizes this mission is a death mission if they're not well prepared, because they're going to have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to make this run down this canyon 100 feet above the ground, because they can't go any higher than that because there's surface air missiles launchers on the canyon walls. And if they go above that, the rockets will get fired and they'll get hit. And they got to do it before these fifth generation fighters figure out they're there, because the F-18s can't compete with these planes. And they got to make their run over this mountain, down in this valley, hit the target, and then go up over this other mountain, which they're going to be pushing like 9 or 10 Gs, which Maverick has done, but these pilots have not, and get out of there and try to get out of there before the missiles knock them out of the sky. So he knows some of these people might not be coming back, and it haunts him, and he doesn't want to send Rooster on this mission. And John Hamm's like, look, I need you to train them. I don't care. They need to be fully trained and know how to do it and be able to perform this in 2 minutes and 30 seconds and get out of there. And if you can't do it, I'll find somebody else who will. And of course, there's trial and tribulations between him and Rooster and some of the other group. But they recreate the volleyball scene, and now they're playing football on the beach, shirtless. And the women that are there have just, sports bras on. So they do call back to that. But they also do another smart thing. Penny and Maverick start falling in love again, and they end up having sex. But instead of trying to recreate the sex scene from the original Top Gun, the way Tony Scott shot it all in silhouette and shadows and all that, because it's a PG movie back then, they didn't show anything really. Instead of showing them trying to recreate that scene, Joseph Kosinski does a nice thing. It shows them going on to the bed, but then it cuts to them after the act, and they're just talking about life. They're talking about her failed marriage and how her and her daughter are doing. And then she asked Maverick about him and Rooster and why he admits to her that he pulled his papers and set his career back 4 years. He can't forgive him. And this is where Maverick tells her that I promised his mother, and I didn't want him to resent both of us, so I never told him his mother made me promise to pull his papers because she didn't want him flying because of what happened to her husband. And you can see this haunts him because he knows Rooster wants to fly, and he's held him back, and he knows it's not right, but he made his mom a promise, and he still feels so guilty about Goose that he just did it, trying to think he was doing the right thing, although not realizing that he was pushing Rooster away because of resenting him for doing so. But Rooster doesn't know he did it for those reasons. You just think he was being kind of a dick to him, and they do resolve those things. So finally, let's skip ahead now, because I think I've covered a lot of this. They go on the mission. They are successful, but Maverick gets shot down by protecting Rooster. Rooster comes back to help him, and they end up on the ground in this foreign land, and they have to steal an F-14 that these people still have, this country, and they end up going up against these fifth-generation fighters. Maverick shoots 2 of them out of the sky. They get hit by this third one that comes in, and then Hangman helps them out, blows it out of the sky to make it back to the aircraft carrier. And at the end, we get this awesome scene where Maverick and Rooster are in the hangar from the beginning of the film, and they're working on this Mustang plane, and Penny Benjamin shows up, and Maverick takes her up in the plane for a flight, and that's the end of Top Gun Maverick. And it's beautifully well done, because we also see in Maverick's hangar that there's all pictures of Goose and them together from their time together. And when Rooster sees that, it's just a nice, touching moment. This movie definitely hits the emotions. Besides, there's thrilling action scenes. These action scenes are impeccably shot. They look gorgeous. And again, like I said in my initial review, the flying scenes are so spectacular. I don't know if we'll ever see flying scenes shot like this again for real, with the actors up there in the air and then be able to do what they did with this. I mean, it took a commitment from the cast and crew to do this, and from Paramount Pictures to give them the go-ahead, and the Navy from allowing them to do it, for their pilots to take them up and get the footage they needed. It looks amazing. And the final mission actually goes on longer than I thought it would. It goes on considerably longer. And there's actually, when Rooster and Maverick are trying to get their way out of this country because they get shot down, I wouldn't expect that, even that whole part of it. But it's awesome. You think it could almost been just felt like it was tacked on, but it's so played perfectly that I was there for it, and I absolutely adored it. Yes, all the actors here are amazing. And like I said in my initial review, it would have been easy for them to try to put Maverick in the background and these younger pilots are the actual stars in the movie, like a bait and switch kind of thing. But make no mistake, this is Tom Cruise's movie, and it all hinges on his shoulders. Yes, everybody's doing awesome work across the board. Miles Teller is awesome. Val Kilmer's great in his little scene. I didn't even talk about that yet. Jennifer Connelly's fantastic as love interest. I think their love interest stuff got shortchanged a little bit, but both actors are so good that it didn't bother me. In a weaker film, it would have bugged me, but this film is so strong in what it's trying to do. I didn't even care at the end of the film. I adored everything about this film. I really don't have anything negative to say about it. Now, Val Kilmer, Iceman. There's a scene that they actually play up Val Kilmer's, he had throat cancer. He can't speak in real life anymore, unfortunately. And he texts his Maverick and says, I want to see you. And he goes, I'm not asking, it's an order. I need to see you. And he goes to his house, and his wife tells Maverick that the cancer's back and there's nothing they could do for him. So they work in his illness and now Val Kilmer's not dying. He beat the cancer, he just can't speak. But in the movie, they kind of address why he is the way he is, that he can't really talk. So he's typing on a computer, but the scene is played so well by Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise that I actually had tears in my eyes. Got emotional for that, especially at the end. They hug it out, and Maverick learns something from Iceman. Iceman makes him realize he has to let it go and teach these young pilots how to accomplish this mission. And it's a really well done scene, and hats off to both actors for pulling that off, and for them to make sure, because Tom Cruise wanted Val Kilmer in the movie, and Val Kilmer wanted to be in the movie, and they made it happen. So hats off to the filmmakers for making that scene and including Iceman in there, because it wouldn't have been a Top Gun movie without at least seeing Val Kilmer at some point. And honestly, again, this movie is a perfect sequel to a beloved film. This is how you do a sequel to a property that hasn't been around in a while. I said about last year, Ghostbusters Afterlife did a pretty damn good job with doing something with a property that hadn't been around since '89. Again, I'm not including the 2016 reboot or remake, whatever you want to call it, because it's its own thing, supposedly. I thought they did a pretty good job. They did a better job here. I absolutely love this film. From the aerial photography, the story, the characters. Yes, they do give us nostalgia. There's nostalgia up the ass, but it's so well done. It's so organic, too. It didn't feel weird. It didn't feel out of place. It didn't feel like they were just shoving it in my face to make me feel good about it. It felt organic to the story. And there's enough new characters, and we spend enough time with the new characters to care about them and their plight. But again, this is Tom Cruise's movie, and he is our biggest and probably last movie star of his caliber, and he knocks it out of the freaking park. Again, I saw this again Saturday night with my buddy Dale, _ from the Bat and Spider podcast. I'm going again this weekend to see it in IMAX with a couple other friends that haven't seen it yet. I've seen it the second time. It held up just the same, so my rating has not diminished. It's 9.75 out of 10. I love this film, and if you haven't seen it yet and you're interested, go see it on the biggest screen you can see it. It's fantastic. This is what summer movie going is all about. This is a perfect summer movie. It's so well done. Hats off to Jerry Bruckheimer, Joseph Kosinski, the whole cast, Tom Cruise for fighting to keep everything real and do this stuff and stay true to what Top Gun is. And they did it. So yes, 9.75 out of 10 for Top Gun Maverick. Have you seen it yet? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share it. It's really great. Would appreciate that. I'm going to have a video to cap off my weekend at Carolina Fear Fest. Me and Dale _ had a great time. We're going to show you what some of the stuff I got and just tell you about some of the experiences we had. But until then, bye.